Hi, I'm Jennifer Kranjak. I am an online hypnosis practitioner and I help people in the surgical, medical, and healthcare professions lead happier and healthy lives. So, a lot of the time, people are always questioning around the ethics of hypnosis. Is it ethical? Is it safe? Is it going to be something that can, you know, unlock my deepest, darkest secrets or make me say and do things that I don't want to do? And how much control does a hypnotist actually have? And this is something that creates a lot of fear or nervousness around hypnosis because hypnosis seems to the general public to be this mythical, magical thing. And in reality, it is not. It's a very natural process that you go through all day, every day, throughout the entire course of your life. This is something that your body does. It's a reset of learning throughout the day. So your mind will actually start deleting irrelevant information and it'll take on board the things that it needs to remember for survival and safety and things that are linked to your emotions to keep you protected and healthy in the future. So if you're looking at how many, you know, poodles you see walking on the street when you went to work this morning, well, it's likely that your mind will erase that information because it doesn't care. It's not important to your safety how many poodles are walking on the road. However, you might realize there's a dangerous intersection that you have to be more, precautionary around walking across the street because you know that people will fly through a red light. So that is something your mind will lock into place and remember long term, opposed to remembering how many poodles you saw. The ethics around hypnosis, it depends on who you're dealing with. Now, there is a lot of information on the internet. There's a lot of YouTube videos, there's a lot of mini courses, some books out there, and hobbyist hypnotists is what I call them. They will do these little tiny courses or read a couple of books and they want to experiment with hypnosis on their friends and they want to see if they can do what they see on stage. And sometimes it works for them, sometimes it doesn't work for them, but they're having a good time and they're thinking that they're actually now a real hypnotist. And they start trying to sell their services to people online, and they're not actually legally registered hypnosis practitioners or hypnotists. And you need to have a solid base understanding and be registered legally in order to practice. Just like a therapist or a doctor, you have to actually have some kind of background behind you and an organization that will support you so that you are seen as a legitimate practitioner or a complementary therapist. And what happens when somebody is new to hypnosis and they're not actually backed up like with a registry, like I'm with the American Board of Hypnosis and Hypnotherapy. I'm also with the National Guild. And what these people are doing is they are playing with people's minds. And I mean, it's not going to cause a huge amount of harm, but the thing is when somebody is looking for actual therapeutic help, they want to quit smoking or they want to lose weight, and they find a friend that has taken a mini course on hypnosis thinking that they're going to solve all their problems. What ends up happening is it goes south pretty quickly. It doesn't work for them, and then they write off hypnosis as not working because they've actually experienced somebody who is an amateur. Ethics also around hypnosis is when you are dealing with somebody who puts you into a hypnotic state and they're telling you what to do. All right. Now, a lot of people will take information on board very easily, are willing to accept advice in a hypnotic state. Not everybody is. I mean, this is a majority of the population won't take on that kind of suggestion. Excuse me. But it is something that people will do in hypnosis. Well, you're here because you want to quit smoking, but I think you could lose a few pounds. So I'm going to slip that into my session while I'm at it without your consent. That is unethical. And if you're dealing with somebody who is a registered hypnosis practitioner, they will not do that. You have an agreement that you will sign, and it understands that you are only going to be treated for what you have asked to be treated for, and you will have quite a thorough consultation talking about what your needs are, so that we can actually help you therapeutically to help you recover from the trauma or whatever it is that you are suffering from, just like any other therapy. So this is where, you have these amateur hypnotists that are actually trying to help you, and it's not working. And it can be unethical because they're going to try to slip things in, trying to impress you and test their limits and put on a bit of a show. And that's really not what a professional hypnotist is going to do. So there are many forms of hypnosis. We have the meditation form of hypnosis. You're basically lying down, you're resting, someone is talking to you, they're making you relaxed. And in a sense, if that is what you are needing, it can be very therapeutic to just take that time to, go inside yourself and just rest in this state of meditation while somebody speaks to you in a way that helps you, calm your mind and, maybe address a bit of anxiety or something like that. It's a nice way to relax. It's not going to be a therapeutic session in the form of, I'm going to help you stop your alcohol cravings. It's usually not going to work that well for a meditative hypnosis. Then you have your script hypnosis, which, that's a hit and miss kind of hypnosis. And this is where a lot of people get into the ethics as well, because if they're writing their own scripts, they can write whatever they want. And it has nothing to do with your needs in the session. So if you are coming in for panic attacks, for example, they're reading you their panic attack script, and maybe they're addressing something that you don't want to address. This is something that's maybe something you don't want to discuss or bring up, and they're bringing this up in the session, and then it becomes unethical because they're just reading the script and it just continues and continues, and you have to kind of ride it out till the end. So with the type of hypnosis that I do a very advanced, very modern, cutting edge version of conversational hypnosis. And what that is something that allows you to be fully participating in your session, in your own therapy. I don't tell you what to do. I actually guide you to a place where your mind will actually resolve the issue on a very deep, non-conscious level. And this is the area where your fear, freeze, flight or fright, sorry, I can't speak today. Your fear, flight, or fright stage is actually in this part of the mind. And what we're doing is we're allowing the mind to find that there is a mistake in its response. It's overblowing the response. And when we give the mind the time that it needs to bring down the level of anxiety, stress, the strain from burnout, the reason for you having insomnia or what have you, whatever your issue may be, it will actually figure it out, and it'll set itself again. It'll just reset, like a reprogram of its own reset cycle, and it'll change the neurology within your mind. And that is a very natural thing to do. It's not unsafe. It's just utilizing what it does all by itself, but we're not changing it. We're not forcing something to happen. We're just giving the mind the time it needs to realize there's a problem, and it corrects itself. Okay, so we're not actually telling you what to do. We're not putting some spell on you, trying to get you to do something against your will. We're just allowing the mind to figure out and resolve the issue the way it does naturally. That's the job of the non-conscious mind. And so if you're having a fear reaction, it gives it the chance to say, hey, you know what? Being in a crowded space is causing me to have a massive anxiety attack. I'm going into spiked claustrophobia. And when you give the mind the time it realizes it needs to adjust the level of strain and stress that it's in a crowd, it realizes that it's too much of a reaction, and it will slowly bring itself back down to a normal, reasonable level. So, I mean, nobody likes going into a crowd. You're still going to have a little bit of uncomfortableness, but you're not going to have this overblown panic reaction. And it'll just do that naturally. So it's not the hypnotist is doing something to you. It's just allowing your mind to make its corrections the way it needs to so that you can actually function correctly. And that's all hypnosis really does, is you have a hypnosis practitioner that is a guide. And when you are in a session with a hypnosis practitioner, especially the type of hypnosis that I do for therapeutic purpose, the results can be extremely fast because the mind will say, oh, yes, yes, I realized what I've done wrong. And it will actually make the correction right there in the session. Sometimes it'll take a little bit longer. It might take a few days or a couple of weeks to gradually just kind of, continue working through the issue after the session, but it will make its adjustments. And this is something that is permanent because you've actually changed the neurology now. And now your response is not going to be overblown. So this is going to be something that will go on for the rest of your life. So you don't actually have to worry about the relapse back into those old behaviors. So if you're having a session with somebody, you might want to check their credentials. You might want to talk to them. A consultation is not necessarily about the hypnosis practitioner talking to you or at you. It is a mutual conversation, and you have questions that you might want to ask, and I encourage you to ask them because this is for your benefit. So I hope this has answered some questions about the ethics around hypnosis and hypnosis practitioners in general, or how sessions should run. And if you have any more questions, please send me a message. I have a website that's linked below. You can check it out if you want more information. I have a ton more videos that you can look at on YouTube and social media. If you would like to book a 100% free consultation with me so that you learn how I can help you with your problems or issues, please check out my Calendly link that's right below, and you can visit me online and we can have a conversation. And that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next video.